So, anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, the most desired. So, yes. So, Spider-Man has to put a stop to this while he's a wanted fugitive by Silver Sable and her army of people with really high-tech gear. And they believe that, including mostly Silver, believe that Spider-Man is responsible for Devil's Breath, even when he's just been framed by the Daily Bugle and trying to do everything in his power to save the world of Manhattan. Well, not save the world, let's save the whole New York City. No one, oh, by the way, due to Silver's, no one's allowed to go in and outside the city of New York, so, it's basically a one ticket, one out, one in thing. So he has to work within the city, and, by the way, don't get to 100% unless you do all these tasks, like go run around and, scan for, use your spidey sense to scan for trouble, and when you defeat, and you can like tell how much percentage you have on, and also doing the really hard, difficult side missions, and all of them are pretty much hard except for collecting backpacks and taking pictures. Okay. So, yeah, that's how you get to 100, and besides being the main story, that's how I did it. So, that's what you gotta do to finish the game. Okay, so the story, we're back to the story. So, after you defeat each Genesis 6 member, the last one you need to face is Monolith, and then Dr. Octopus. Well, Peter tries to get through Monolith but after he found out what Norman did to him, that he made him miss the negative by experimenting, and the experiment went wrong. He says you're right. Norman does deserve to be punished, but not like this. He deserved to be punished by being on trial within the law. But Miley just wants pure revenge, so he fails to kill Norman, and he gets his ass beat by Spider-Man. So now, Spider-Man loses the cure after teaming up with Sable, and gets really hurt really bad. To the point he's having trouble really breathing, he can barely breathe. So Octavius takes off after creaming Spider-Man with the Devil's Breath cure, the anti-serum. So, yeah, that sucks. So, and it gets worse. Aunt May has the symptoms of Devil's Breath, and she is not doing well. She's literally hanging, clinging for her life on her deathbed. So, Ryan finds out that Ami's dad is sick, and that's when he decides he needs to push on for Aunt May, and get the cure back in time, hopefully, to cure Aunt May and everyone else in Manhattan. So, he tries to appeal to Ox, humanity, but it's not working. So he decides to kick his ass, no mercy, once he finds out that once he finds out that Dr. Octopus knew the entire time that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Even in the first act, that was kind of already revealed to him. That's how he got the suit. The Insomniac suit, that design. So that's a big gap in the plot. It's almost like Peter had amnesia. So I guess he had him. Peter must have had his head pretty fucking hard by Doc's mechanical, because he doesn't remember that Doc made him his new suit. So, well, and that's actually a really important part of the story. It's like you really fucked it up in Insomniac, you know. You know, it's just like, and then Peter goes full force and wins the fight and takes off with the anti-serum and walks away while and also Octavius is dying from his physical illness. It's kind of like ALS, I guess, or I can't remember what it is called, what he called it, but it's basically like his physical health will go away, and so will his mind, completely eventually. So those mechanicals was the only thing that was keeping him stable physically, but not mentally. So he threatens to tell people Peter's secret identity as Spider-Man. And Peter says, "You do what you gotta do, Doc. I'm gonna do what I need to do." So he just walks away, and while he's like begging for Peter to help to fix the equation of the mechanical arms, and don't let me be locked up, otherwise they'll never. And he doesn't want to be locked up in prison or a mental institution. So where he's going, that's not what he wants, because he's saying this is going to get worse. Him, and he wanted revenge on Norman Osborn to kill him because he got his company shut down by Norman because he was taking too long. Even though Norman stole all of Doc's ideas in the past, and he admits to it, and he says the reason why he did it is because, well, Norman's an asshole. Because he just said it's because Doc Octavius is a small man, and he is so much bigger than Doc Octavius ever will be. That's why he stole all of his ideas. And that was Norman's chance to not die by apologizing to Octavius. Because he was going to let him live, but it looked like he was going to let him live for a second, but then he decides to just let that bastard die. And Spider-Man saves him from falling, and he walks away with this evil grin on his face, this hobgoblin grin. I mean, this Green Goblin grin, because he's probably going to be most likely Green Goblin in the future installments, just like which kind of hinted at in the little Easter eggs in this game. And Venom's going to be Harry, that's what Harry's covering, and that's what he was dying from, was the symbiote. So he's in this like little tank of ooze, of green ooze, that to try to keep him alive till no one can find a cure. And this is a post-end credits thing I'm talking about. And also MJ and Peter, after being separated and broken up being broken up for years and years and just being a friend zone, get back together at the end. And does Peter save Aunt May? How's Aunt May? She flatlines. Not because he didn't make it in time, but because he didn't give her the cure. Because he decided to let go of Aunt May and decided to not be the selfish person, but be the good person that Aunt May knows he is. And Peter's is heartbroken because if he didn't let Aunt May die and gave her the cure to Devil's Breast, then there would not be any more cure for anyone else. He's explained to this by this guy that's working on making several cures for people. So yeah, Peter's asked, "What if we use it to cure someone right now? We'll still have enough for everyone else?" And he says no. So he makes the decision to let Aunt May go. And she knew for years, for a while, that he was Spider-Man. That's why so when she asked Peter to take off his mask because she wants to see her nephew before she goes, was really got me. It was really a beautiful scene. It's actually the most sincere, real, emotional scene in the entire game. It's not the fact that she died, but the fact that she knew that he was Spider-Man, and even though she was worried about him, she trusted him that he was doing the right thing. And we don't know how long she's figured out, but it's definitely just, she said she knew for a while, so just been for years, for at least. It's been for years, but how many years, I don't know. So, yeah. And, anyway, a few months pass, and, the city is saved because of the, Devil's Breast cure that Spider-Man produced Spider-Man's sacrifice of letting Aunt May go. And now MJ, back together with Peter Parker. And Peter Parker gets a duty calls as there's a robbery being a robbery and a car chase and a bunch of good stuff. So it's time for him to suit up as Spider-Man. And after kissing his girlfriend, reunite with his girlfriend. That was his ex-girlfriend for Joy throughout the free extraction until the last 4 minutes of the game, which is a cutscene. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Miles. Miles has an origin story. After Peter gets saved by this cop, which is Miles' dad, he gets killed by Miley, and now Miles is filled with this anger and depression, and Peter tries to cheer him up by mentoring him into helping out, being helpful. And then when Miles reveals that he has Spider-Man powers, and he has the same powers as Spider-Man, Peter he gives the line, "Pretty weird, huh, Pete?" And Peter just shows what the old pro's got by showing off his powers, and he says, "Not that weird, Miles." So, yeah. And it's stealth missions. Personally, I found the stealth missions as Peter Parker more. The Peter Parker Spider-Man stealth missions, for some reason, are more harder to do than you would think, because the MJ and Miles stealth missions are more easier to get past for some reason, but I don't know why. So that's all that stuff what I said is why I'm giving this game a 6 out of 10. Slightly below average, but still, it's not everything I want from a Spider-Man game, but it's the best Spider-Man game we got since Edge of Time, which is second best next to this. As in, this is number 1. So yeah, if you're looking for the best Spider-Man game or the best open world Spider-Man game, pick up Spider-Man on PS4 if you have a PS4. If you don't, get one if you're curious to see or feel what it's like being Spider-Man.